Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. Today we have another crochet idea video. If you've noticed, we've got a little bit of a different background going on, okay? I am in the middle of doing like a little bit of a room makeover right now. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, I am filming the process of my room makeover. So you guys are kind of getting like a little sneak peek in this video, but a video of my room makeover will be coming out soon. Anyway, so for this video, we have boho / hippie crochet ideas. A lot of these are beginner friendly, like a majority of them are beginner friendly, and a majority of them are free patterns. Only a couple of them are paid, but I will give you my review and let you know whether or not they're worth paying for or not. So there's that. Okay, originally this was just going to be like a boho video, but I started crocheting some more stuff and I was like, oh, I feel like this kind of fits in the hippie. And then I have a bunch of people who want hippie and a bunch of people who want boho, and I can't really tell if they're wanting the same thing. So I kind of just combined it all into one big crochet idea video. Okay, so we've got a little boho, we got a little hippie, we got the crossover of boho and hippie. For a while I thought they were the same thing, and they're kind of the same thing. They're like, there's only a little key differences, but we've got both in this video. So as always, everything I say will be listed in the description box below in the order that I said it, linked to all of the patterns. So if you want to make any of this stuff, it will be linked in the description box. I noticed a couple of you guys in the last video were like, where do I find the tutorial? It's in the description box. Okay, it's down there. There is a hair on my lip. Oh, I got it. Okay. I felt it on my lip. Anyway, like my other videos, there's going to be a difficulty scale. So 4 stars means super hard, 1 star means beginner friendly and can definitely be your first project. So pay attention to the little difficulty scale throughout the video. Let's jump into the first thing I made, which is this lantern with 3 rings. Okay. I'm specifying 3 rings because I made multiple lanterns for this. I made multiple lanterns for this video. So there's this 3 ring lantern. This one I loved. Okay, 10 out of 10. It is a paid pattern, but it is worth every dime. Okay, and I'm pretty sure this seller has like bundle patterns for a couple things that I made in this video. So if you want to get like the bundled version, you can, but it is so worth it. I loved it. Okay, so for this one you are going to need a little more than just yarn. You need 3 rings total, 2 that are the same size and 1 that's bigger than those 2 rings in order to make this. So that is something to keep in mind before deciding to do this project. But the rings that I used were really cheap and I got them on Amazon. I can link them down below with the pattern if you want to see where I got my rings from. So last time I did use a similar pattern from the same creator to make the lantern I showed in my Valentine's Day video, but I used a different yarn. I used a weight 4 yarn, and her pattern specifically has a different type of yarn for the pattern. And for this time around, I actually ordered the specific brand that she used in her pattern, and the lantern, gorge. It came out way better than with the weight 4 yarn. Like, oh, I love that yarn, and I actually used it for a lot of the projects in this video. So I'll link the yarn down below too if you're interested, but beautiful, gorgeous yarn. Okay, what's cool about these lanterns is you can put a little battery operated candle inside, and I'll show you what it looks like at night, but it's like so cute, and you don't have to worry about it catching on fire because it's not a real flame. And what's cool about these patterns is, or this pattern and the other lantern pattern I'll get to, is that it's really versatile. Like, you can do the beads on the bottom, you could do no beads on the bottom, you can do tassels like I did on the other one. There's so many options and different appliques to put on, so it's definitely worth it. Also it is beginner friendly. It is a little difficult, but it's beginner friendly because there are pictures and like very detailed descriptions of every little step along the way. So you won't have a lot of issues with it. The next thing I made is this 2 ring lantern. Okay, gorge. I love her. This one I kind of ended with a little bit of like a tassel at the bottom instead of like a rounded bead. I kind of wanted to play around with like closing, like decreasing, you know, instead of just having it open like the other one. So I really liked this one. You're actually supposed to use a 4-inch ring and an 8-inch ring, but I didn't have an 8-inch ring, so I ended up using a 4-inch and a 6-inch, and that's why it kind of looks a little like wavy, or like there's extra yarn and extra rows because I didn't use the right size ring, so it looks a little wonky just because of that, but I still like it. I still think it looks cool. So the next thing I made for this video is this granny square triangle top. Beginner friendly, like absolute beginner friendly. You can make it as your first project if you've never made anything before. Super easy, super beginner friendly. And what's cool about this one is if you just have like 5 granny squares laying around, like say you started a blanket but you never actually got around to finishing the blanket, so you have like 5 granny squares, you can make this top with those granny squares and get some use out of them. So I kind of love it for that. I love that about this top, and the fact that it's super easy and beginner friendly, and it's a video tutorial. So video tutorial and written, both free. Okay, so this next one is another wearable. It's this mandala kind of dress kind of thing. Now, when I first saw the picture for this, it was like a cream color, and honestly, if I were to do it again, I'd do a different color, but I chose this green specifically because I wanted to go with that like dress I have. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell if I love it or hate it. The pattern specifically is a bit confusing, and I actually wouldn't suggest it for a beginner, but it is a free pattern. It's just a free written pattern. And I did come across at the end of the written pattern, I noticed there were some video tutorials for certain sections of it, but even with that, I still had trouble. Like, I still got confused, and I had to redo and frog a couple times. So beware if you've never made anything before. Maybe don't choose that one as your first project, but it was fun and cute. If I were to do it all over again, I would probably do a lighter color. But one thing that is really cool about this is it was one skein, like Red Heart Super Saver. I used acrylic Red Heart Super Saver yarn, and I only used one skein, like literally one skein. So if you only have one skein of a Red Heart Super Saver yarn, you can make this. And I made the size, there were different size options. What did I make? I think I made the large. I made the large option. So one skein makes a large. So that's good to know if you're looking for a one skein project. The next thing I made was this kind of like boho chic belt. And this one's a free written pattern, okay? It's really easy. It's like super, super easy. The only thing I would say is pay attention when it's time to like chain and put it around your waist and check for sizing. Actually do it, okay? Don't be lazy like me and not check, because I didn't get up from where I was sitting and put it around my waist. I didn't check at all. I just like assumed I knew how big my waist was, and it ended up being massive. It ended up being too big for me. So definitely follow the instructions thoroughly, check your chains, make sure it fits around your waist perfectly before continuing to the next step. Don't be dumb like me, okay? But yeah, I ended up using a fine weight yarn, cotton yarn for this one, and it was perfect. And what's cool about this creator is they also have another free headband version. So if you like the style of the belt, but you don't necessarily want it as a belt, they do have a headband version. The next thing I made was this sunrise pillow. It is literally, I'd say probably my favorite thing out of everything I made for this video. I love it so much. It's a paid pattern on Etsy. Gorgeous. Okay, I used the same yarn I used for the lanterns, and it turned out so adorable. Also, one thing about this one is it's not 100% crochet. There is a sewing factor to it, but the sewing is really, really, really easy. So don't let the fact that there's a sewing part prevent you from doing it, because honestly, it could be your first sewing project ever. Like, it's super easy. It's sewing 2 shapes together, okay, and adding some stuffing. It's really, really easy. So definitely don't let that deter you from doing this. Also, you can put crochet in a sewing machine. So if you're going to do this and you're thinking you have to hand sew, you don't. Put your crochet under the sewing machine. I did with mine. It worked perfectly fine. Just use a zigzag stitch, okay? The stitches are very simple, definitely beginner friendly, no difficulty at all, and I will be making more. Now, the next thing I made is this star plant hanger. I already mentioned doing like a room makeover kind of thing, and part of that is having more hanging plants. So I was like, oh, let's take advantage of this opportunity and test out some hanging plant patterns, and that's what I did. So I did this star one. I actually really liked it. The only thing with this one is it is a little confusing, okay? It's a video tutorial. There is a written version, but I watched the video tutorial, so I can't speak for how well the written one is. I watched the video tutorial, and the video one was a little confusing. I did have to frog 2 times because in some points she's saying the opposite of what she's doing, or she's saying stuff that doesn't match what her hands are doing. So that's a little confusing. So definitely wouldn't do it as your first project, but regardless, it's really cute. I used that polyester yarn I used in the 70s video for the basket. It's like really thick, bulky yarn. But what's cool about this pattern, this video tutorial, is it's really sized to any pot you have. So it can be small, big, whatever. If you're using a thicker yarn, thinner yarn, like you can use whatever. I just used thick yarn because I thought, like, why not? And I figured it would go by faster if I used a thick yarn, and it did. But if you want to use thin yarn, it also like adjusts to that. It's really adjustable is what I'm trying to say. Oh, and for this one, you're going to want like a metal ring or like a little wooden ring, like those macrame things have, because it's part of the hanger for this tutorial. I mean, you could probably get by without having one, but I did. I used one. So the next one is a free written pattern for this teardrop plant hanger. I actually have them hanging behind me, but I actually really love this. It was the pattern, it's a free one. I think it's Yarn Inspirations, it is. So it's a free written pattern, and it was for bulky yarn, and the only bulky yarn I had was this burnout velvet. And at first I was like, oh, should I do this in velvet? But then I was like, why not? It'd be kind of cute and unique. So I did. I used velvet. There is a size small and a size large, and I did one of each to test both parts for you. Loved it, both of them, super easy to read. The only thing is with Yarn Inspiration patterns, there's no picture help. It's just like a document with a bunch of words. So if you are a picture person, maybe don't go for it, or I mean attempt it. But if you're a picture person, it might be a little difficult for you. But other than that, it was really straightforward, really easy. I did both sizes. The size difference in the small and the big is huge. The jump in sizes is massive, as you can tell, like very big. Small to large, definitely. The only thing is I kind of wish there was a medium size, but it's fine. Regardless, I loved it. I loved it. Oh, I almost dropped my notebook. The next and last thing I made is the square hanging plant holder thing. Okay, this one is super beginner friendly, like super beginner friendly. It's literally just a square in 4 chains, or I guess like 2 chains, 4 strands, like so stupid easy. Okay, I actually ended up making 3 of them because they were so quick and easy. I literally made mine in under 10 minutes. So like, if you're looking for a simpler way to hang your plants, like I mentioned that star one earlier, but if you're looking for a simpler one that's way easier and you don't have to worry about it, definitely make this one. And what's cool about it is it's free, it's a written pattern, and it's really sizable to any pot you have. You kind of measure your stitches based off of how big your pot is. So again, like the other one, it goes with any size. And that is all I have for you for our boho hippie crochet ideas. Like I said in the beginning, everything I mentioned is linked down below. Tutorials, patterns, whatever. It's all in the description in the order that I said it. If you want to make what I'm wearing, this poncho, because you guys have a tendency to always be like, I need the pattern for what you're wearing. Girl, I don't care what you're talking about. How do I get the pattern for that? Okay, I'll link it down below in the description. The poncho crochet tutorial, okay? I'll link that down in the description, and if you are making any of my stuff off of tutorials or things like that, tag me on Instagram so I can post your stuff on my story. And other than that, I will see you in the next video. Bye!